I considered that town hall part of my debate prep, actually. That was pretty good. We've done probably more events than any other campaign, and talking to the voters has been the best form of debate prep, but it's taking some time to collect ourselves. Maybe I'll do some tonight, to be honest with you.
Well, GOP presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy crediting NewsNation for a portion of his prep for tonight's debate. Last week, the millennial businessman joined Chief Washington anchor Leland Vittert for his first presidential town hall, where he outlined his stance on several key issues, including the economy, immigration, and health care. And tonight, he'll take his message to the voters. As he continues to climb in the polls, he'll join 7 other candidates on the stage in Milwaukee for the first debate of this election season. Joining us now to talk more about this is Communications Director Tricia McLaughlin. So really excited to have you here and pick your brain a bit about the candidate. To start, Tricia, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, he is expected to surrender at the Fulton County Jail in Georgia today. Do you think this case will hang over the debate tonight? And if asked about it, how do you think Vivek Ramaswamy will respond?
Kelly, I just heard it when you were talking about it in your earlier segment, so I do not know enough about this issue. It's news of the day, so I wouldn't be surprised if Fox News brings it up in the debate. I think Vivek will look at the facts and deliver his opinion to the American people, as he always done. He's facts and principles first.
All right. Well, we will await his response if it does, in fact, come up. So, as you know, he is the youngest Republican presidential candidate. He says his lack of political experience is actually a benefit to tackling some of the nation's biggest issues with a fresh perspective. How does he gain trust with the naysayers, though?
I think that he already has gained traction with the naysayers. I mean, look at it this way, Kelly. Vivek began this campaign polling at 0.0%. And to some degree, he wasn't even registering in polls. And now he's going to be in the center of the debate stage. He's next to Ron DeSantis. He's beating former governors. He's beating former vice presidents. Tonight is the opportunity for Vivek to really introduce himself to the American people. I would say the majority of your viewers likely don't know exactly who Vivek Ramaswamy is, what he stands for. Can they pronounce his name? This is his opportunity really to introduce himself, why he deserves to be there, what he stands for, and how he can unite this country.
And what do you attribute to that surge in the polls, Tricia?
I think Vivek is not afraid to talk about the truth. He stands for principles, and he's not just going off of 1980s Republican talking points. It's something that people are hungry for. He's not looking at this campaign, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat campaign. He's looking at this as a pro-America campaign. How do we unite the country? Black, white, Democrat, Republican, blue, green, doesn't matter. How do we find those pieces that bind us together and remind us why we set out in 1776 to make this one nation?
Now, we know he is out for the top job, but if it comes down to it, would he consider a VP spot?
He said he's not interested. So knowing Vivek, he definitely is he's a leader, he's a visionary, and I don't know how well he would do in a number 2 spot. He said it before himself. I would echo that sentiment.
All right. So which of his potential policies do you think help him stand out from the others who will be on the stage tonight?
Kelly, he has gotten a lot of flack over his foreign policy stances. I mean, you've heard it from Nikki Haley. It was in that 17-page document from Ron DeSantis that was recently leaked. He's taken some flack from Mike Pence, too, on his foreign policy. The difference between Vivek and a lot of these candidates on stage is that he offers real specifics. He's talked about brokering a peace deal with Putin around Ukraine. He's talked about bolstering a relationship with Israel, that Israel can really stand on its own 2 feet. That's what friends do. He's talked about relationships with Taiwan, with India. He's offering, as an outsider, out-of-the-box foreign policy thinking that I think a lot of people in the bipartisan establishment, it makes them a little bit nervous. But he's really lending a fresh perspective that I think a lot of Americans are hungry for.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.